Give me a second here. Who do we got? Anyone? Today's going to be a short live stream, this morning at least. I am officially under the weather. Took me a while to get here, about a week. I've been walking that edge. And last night it just hit me. I can't say out of the blue. Like I said, I've been feeling it coming on. I've taken steps to, I even slept in today. But I'll bounce back quickly. And it won't keep me down. However, I will take the needed steps. Hey, Nightmare. Nightmare says, just me. Eric, good morning. Good morning to you, Nightmare. How are you? Give me a second, guys. Bringing up my desktop. It's just easier to read.
What?
Hey, Tundra. Tundra says, good morning. Suicide Nightmare. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm slightly under the weather. So I talked about reading sorry. Nightmare says, hi, Tundra. So how's everyone doing this morning? So I can't find the right thing that I'm looking for right now in A Course in Miracles. Yeah, I do. Nightmare says, Eric, haven't done breath work in a minute. We haven't. All right, let's do some breath work. Tundra says, maybe you have a cold. Yeah, I think I do. So, first off, Nightmare, how are you feeling? What time is it for you? It's I know it's a little later. We could do some morning breath work. I don't think I've shared the breath of fire with you guys. I only do this once a day, usually. I've already done it when I just woke up. Breath of fire is a waking breath. Here's the thing, in how I was taught how to teach breath work. Categorize into coffee breathing, water breathing, and whiskey breathing. Has nothing to do with any of those things, but it's a good description. Coffee breathing wakes us up. It's an invigorating breath. And water breathing is neutral. Everything mixes with water. So it can lift you up if you need a little bit of a lift, or it can bring you down if you need to be brought down, if you're anxious, if you're panicking. And then whiskey breathing is that deep, a longer exhalation that brings you really far into the parasympathetic, that rest and digest mode. Since it's early, let's do breath of fire. Breath of fire is a little hard to teach online, but we can do it. It is a breathing in through the nose and a sharp exhale through the nose. So if you listen, and what I'm doing is pulling my belly back. Watch my belly. Can you hear that, guys? So it is a natural, easy breath in, and you relax. A sharp exhale, and a natural inhale, happening completely on its own. Does that make sense? Let me know if it makes sense, and then we'll go to the next step. What we do is 20 breaths, just like that. Breathing in. Remember, we're very gently but forcefully pulling the belly back as we exhale. That way it's forcing all the air out of our lungs. And then, thanks Nightmare. Nightmare says makes sense. The inhalation is passive. We allow it to happen on its own. But as soon as this happens, we go right into that forcible exhale again. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to do 20 breaths. Then we're going to take a natural, easy breath. We're going to hold the breath for 10 seconds. We're going to do 3 rounds. Let me get set up. So this is a quick little demonstration. Close my eyes. I like putting my hand on my belly, but you don't have to. You can have it right in your lap if you want. "20 breaths. If you miscount, don't worry about it. So let's say that you go for the 20 breaths, but you think, man, I only got 17. Doesn't matter. On that last breath, we take a breath in and we hold it. Count of 20. After we take that breath, relax, take a couple easy breaths, and I'll let you know when we're ready to do the next round. Everyone ready? 20 breaths. Some easy breaths to start. Just 3 easy breaths. Our first round begins. 20 breaths. Relax. An easy breath. Take a breath in and hold for count of 10. And relax. That was round 1. Just let yourself breathe nice and easy. Nothing forced. We're going to do round 2. Remember, it's a quick, invigorating breath. Forcible exhale, passive inhale. 20 more rounds. Relax. Take a breath. Deeper breath in and hold for count of 10. And relax. Breathe normally, naturally, easily. We're going to do one more round. Last round. You ready? Relax. Breathe in. Hold. And relax. That is the breath of fire, guys. It can be done. You can extend the breath hold. You can do up to 30 rounds or 30 breaths per round. No more than 3 rounds are needed. Hey, Ryan. Ryan says, good morning, Eric. Good morning, Ryan. It's nice seeing you over at Jesse's. This is really he's been recommended. That was my first visit. Tom just says, good morning, Ryan. Nightmare, how'd that breath go? Um, Give me 1 second. You still with us, Nightmare? Ryan says Jesse has a very impressive workout routine and focus to him. Hey, have you ever done our friend Poor Man's Gym, Dan? He does a lot of his workouts. He loves those partial movements. I haven't done a whole lot of partial stuff. I used to way back in the day when I was bodybuilding and powerlifting. I might do some partial lockouts to finish. I did some isometric work in the power rack, but never body weight partial stuff like he does. It's interesting. Hey, Eve. Eve says good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Tanya says, Yogi, I got my first short. Stands at 2.5 at the moment. 2.2. Wow. That is awesome. You cracked the algorithm code. Sometimes I'm able to crack it, sometimes not. Eve says, hey, Tandra, how are you doing? So, well, I got you two guys here. Two of my favorite people. Our friend Eve is at 4.26 subscribers. And we are well on our way to hitting that 5K by the end of the month. We can do it. Is there anyone here, anyone passing through, anyone hanging out who is not subscribed to our friend Eve? If you're not, could you please do so? You won't regret it. Eve's a wonderful person, and she is putting out some, man, she's got a really professional channel. I love it. As does Tandra. You guys are like leap years ahead of me. Tandra says, never had that many. Your channel's growing, Tandra. Ryan says, have you seen him go through the deck of cards, sitting the card number for reps, TRX pulls and pull-ups? I haven't, but I watched Poor Man's Gym do his version of it. Pretty intense. He says, you're welcome, Tandra. And speaking of Tandra, if anyone would like to go through her playlist, just watch some videos. You can watch one video, you can watch a live stream, you can go through the playlist. And we're going to help with some watch hours. We are on a push for 3K, 3,000 watch hours. I mentioned before, let's see, Ryan says, hey, Eve, Tandra, I'm going to sub right now. Thank you, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, you said you were in Pennsylvania, right? I meant to ask you, this was months ago. I meant to ask you where you're from in Pennsylvania. Tandra says, thanks, Ryan, much appreciated. Oh, Kansas City, gotcha. Yep, I seem to recall. Because I remember you mentioning, we talked about armadillos a few days ago. So thank you, Tandra, for saying that. I'll be honest with you. My I don't know if my channel is ever going to be any more than it is. Doesn't mean I won't get more subscribers. Doesn't mean that it won't be, you know, larger. That maybe I won't talk to more people. But I'm not a technical person. I think all I'm ever going to do is talk to people. I'm a talking channel. Well, I'm going to work out too. I'm going to do nature shorts. But the entirety of my channel is going to be um, just looking at the camera and talking about things that I hope are helpful. Like our friend Nightmare said, let's do some breath work. So we did some breath work. Um, the entirety of my goal is that maybe someone's going to feel a little bit better coming in for a few minutes. That's all I hope for. Can a channel like that be successful? You know, do I need the bells and the whistles? Do I need the technical expertise? I don't know. Don't know. I also don't care. Because we have people who are really good at that. And I'm not in competition with anyone. Here's what I'm good at, if I don't mind saying so. I'm good at simply being myself. And believe it or not, it took me a while to get there. I had to let go of all the things that I thought I had to be in order to simply be who I am. Authenticity is not easily acquired. Do you know why? Because we think it's something to be acquired, and so we chase after it. But as long as you're chasing after something, you're not being authentic. Authentic is simply taking a breath. Authentic is crying when you feel like crying, smiling when life gives you something to smile about. Ryan is laughing and says, yes, you had a migration. We all had a migration sighting of animal conversation. Yep. And nobody's better at being you. Nobody is better at being you than you, Yogi. I appreciate hearing that. Man, there's a poem, and I don't remember who wrote it, about finally coming back to ourselves. See if I can Google it. So it took me probably, I think it took, man, being with my father when he passed away. I think it took being a caregiver, extremely so, in order for me to finally arrive at being myself. When you're a caregiver, you're stripped away of every single personal concern and need, and you give it to someone else. I think the only way we truly become who we are is when we get to live a life of service. When we fully have to be there, present to someone. Of course, we can do that at an earlier stage. Oddly enough, a lifetime of meditation, a lifetime of yoga, a lifetime of striving, and I still didn't arrive until I let everything go and I surrendered to caring for my father. You need to be broken a little bit. Broken's not bad. Broken is good, actually. Tanya says, Yogi, you being here is why I'm here. Tanya, that's so nice of you to say. And Tanya says, I understand that fully. Hey, Easy. Easy says, good morning, Yogi. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Easy. Leonard Cohen, the great Canadian songwriter, singer-songwriter, has a wonderful line in one of his songs. Everything's made to be broken. Everything has a crack in it, because that's how the light gets in. Ryan says, sometimes you have to break a bone to set it correctly. And sometimes the heart has to be fully broken in order to arrive at the very spaciousness of our nature. Let's read that really quick. This always comes up very quick for me because I read it at least once a week. St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. He talks about love, what love is. Easy says, Eric, I have kind of a weird question. Shoot. Tanya says, a little bit of yogi goes a long way. A little bit of yogi goes a long way. It certainly does, my friend. That is my beautiful theme song, by the way, from our friend, one of my 2 beautiful theme songs. So this is the ending of St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind. It is not jealous, it is not pompous, it is not inflated, it is not rude. It does not seek its own interest. It is not quick-tempered, it does not brood over injury. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, love never fails. When I got divorced, my immediate life response was not to be patient, was not to be kind. It was to be jealous, it was to be pompous, it was to be inflated, it was to be rude. I sought my own best interest. I was quick-tempered. I brooded over the injury. I did not rejoice, of course, but only for an instant. I was very fortunate at the end of my divorce, at the end of my marriage, to be gifted with something larger than a marriage itself. When I got divorced, I fell in love with who my wife actually was. She actually did me a great favor by divorcing me because she freed me from the ego restraints of love. Because we still wanted to be together. We still had a commitment to each other. So I had an instant where I felt sorry for myself. And then I got to fall in love with, again, who my wife really was from the depth of my heart without all that baggage involved. Baggage still came up, and it still comes up. But we're both able to dismiss it so much quicker now. It's those seeming misfortunes in life that lead us where we are. Let's see. Easy says, did Hitler go to Tibet or Eastern Asia to learn about their philosophies? Because isn't the swastika a Hindu-Buddhist symbol? It is a Hindu symbol that was misused. Yeah, it was misused. But he certainly wasn't a yogi of any kind. He didn't go himself, but I believe some of his lieutenants, some of his generals studied aspects of yoga and used it for their own, obviously, self-serving interest. Ryan says, you guys working your way back together or better apart? Both. We actually, we got divorced in 2012. We actually celebrated our 12th divorce anniversary. Divorcery? Is that a word? It's a word now. Divorcery. Earlier in the year. We separated in 2008. It took us a while to get divorced. We've always been together in some form or another. But we also realize that we need a little bit of space. We work better when we love each other through all of our issues. Um, but that's it. To love each other through all of our issues. In A Course in Miracles, there's two types of relationships. There's what we call the special relationship, which is what most relationships are. I will love you as long as you are loving me. I will love you as long as you are doing the things that make it easy for me to love you. I will love you as long as you don't hurt me. I will love you as long as there's no grievances, no resentment, as long as you don't do this or do that. Or, what's in it for me? That's a special relationship. And almost every relationship we have is a special relationship. Even with the people we don't like. Because it puts us in a position of feeling better about ourselves. I'm better than you. You did this and I'm better than you. I judge you unworthy, so I'm better than you. Special relationship is all based upon judgment. But every moment we can have a holy relationship. And a holy relationship is when our own self-interest drops for just a moment and we're able to connect on that holiest, deepest level that we have. We forgive, even if it takes an instant. And Milka's my ex-wife, present companion. She's always been my companion. My soul companion. Let's call it that. She gave me the gift of dropping my special relationship and being in a holy relationship. I had to forgive a lot. Not only did I have to forgive Milka, I had to forgive myself for the mistakes that I made in our marriage. And I felt a little self-righteous because my mistakes didn't seem all that big, obviously. They never do they? But they were enough. They were enough. So, man, what a great gift I had. What a great gift Milka gave me. To be able to forgive myself for the mistakes that I made. To be able to forgive her for the mistakes that it seemed that she made. Forgiveness is all about returning to innocence. It's not about, I forgive you because. It's saying, I forgive you for the only because there is. I forgive you because we love each other. Because you are my holy relationship. I forgive you because forgiveness is the way that we proceed further with each other. It's the way we proceed through the world, forgiving continuously so, moment by moment by moment. Nightmare says, what is your YouTube end goals, Eric? It is to earn an income that pays my bills. I don't need a whole lot. I inherited a house. I split expenses with my brother. We both live here. We inherited a house from my father. We decided it would make sense. Milka lives nearby. Her and I help each other out through everything. So I find myself 59. I'm not able to retire. I'm sort of retired, but I don't get Social Security yet. I'm not quite ready. I don't want to get out and get a job. I've worked my whole life. I teach meditation and breath work, but I basically do it for free these days. It's like you have a great gift that can help people, and it's hard not to just give it away. Hey, Mir. So, yeah, that's my goal. That's my YouTube end goal, is to earn just enough, pay my bills, buy some groceries, and have a little bit left over so I can buy a book every once in a while. I mentioned before, if I ended up making like $1,200 a month, which seems doable on YouTube, that would be the equivalent of like making $10,000 a month. So that's what I'm working towards. And I want to do it, as we mentioned before, by being myself. By giving away stuff. Let's see. Verna Boy says Hitler actually stole that symbol from Hindu, a symbol of peace, and made it into a symbol most Hindu people would not have uh, resurfaced, renounced that symbol now. Yep, absolutely, Runner Boy. Mir, how are you, my friend? We haven't seen you for a bit. Ryan says, what are your job and your working days, Yogi? Originally, I was middle management in retail. I sold supplements. I worked at GNC, Vitamin Shop, a couple other smaller places. And I was always threatened with promotions. Sounds pretty horrible, doesn't it? Every time in middle management, they would be like, you could be manager of several stores. You could be a district manager. You could be a regional manager. And I was like, man, that sounds horrible. Why would I ever want to be a regional manager? Some people dream of that. My regional manager took me to his home, showed me his fancy car, showed me his boat. He had a boat. He lived along the Chesapeake Bay. He said, easily, you could have this. And I thought, man, that would be horrible. I actually didn't care for retail too much, although it's a great learning experience. When I got married, Milka said, you know what? Why don't you start your own training business? So I took my kettlebells and I went to people's houses and I would train them. We'd do kettlebells and yoga, some body weight stuff. And I was pretty successful with that. Um, and then, especially when I was caregiving for my mom with my dad, because I could make my own schedule. But then with COVID and my dad getting even more ill with congestive heart failure in his 90s, I had to shut my business down because I couldn't bring people to my house. I couldn't go to other people's houses. I couldn't take any chance on getting my father sick. Even a cold would have been devastating to him. And after he passed away 3 years ago, I inherited just enough money where I could start thinking, what do I want to do? So the one thing I've always only wanted to do was to be a writer. That's why I have my blog. Um, and to help people. That's what I'm trying to do on YouTube. Hopefully. Ryan says I also worked at GNC about 10 years ago. I enjoyed GNC and the vitamin shop. It's nice helping people with supplements, especially older people, especially if you're honest and you can tell them you don't really need this. Save your money. Multivitamin, a little extra vitamin D, a little extra vitamin C goes a long way. You don't need a whole lot. Even for bodybuilding, you don't need a whole lot. A little extra protein, some creatine, but you don't need HMB. You don't need all that other stuff. The vast majority of supplements, expensive P is what it comes down to. Rio says, I'm good, sir. So Yogi, I tried to do it on $100, but that is not possible. You always support other people, Mir. You always support other people. You're an awesome friend. Easy says, as odd as it may sound, I've been studying Hitler to try and understand the spirit behind the monster. It's understandable. Here's a question. Can you forgive a monster? Can you forgive Hitler? That's big because we always think forgiveness means forgiving all the stuff that he did. But that's not what forgiveness means. Can you see that beneath the monster and the twisted thought, there is still an innocent spirit? Does that mean Hitler was innocent? No. Does it mean that beneath all the Hitler stuff, that there is a seed of innocence that never got a chance to reach fruition. Does that make sense? Can we see beneath all that stuff? That takes some doing. That takes some doing. I have my own political figures that I'm working on forgiving right now. It is not easy, but I'm working on it. Brian says I was always getting uh, always getting written about not pushing the GNC products exclusively, but instead what I thought was quality. Yeah, me too. Especially, I don't know if they still offer. You earned a little extra money on GNC products versus other products, but I always thought it was better to build a relationship with customers, so they would turn to you because you were being honest with them. Easy says, I think we should forgive as much as our ego allows us. Let's talk about that. The ego will never allow you to forgive. Excuse me, guys. Forgiveness is about looking past the ego. The ego will always negotiate forgiveness. This is why forgiveness is such a useful spiritual tool, because it returns us past the ego. It returns us to pure spirit. So every time we forgive, we transcend the ego, we bypass the ego, and we enter that holy relationship with another. The ego will never, never, never truly forgive. Hey, Batgirl. Batgirl says, hey, guys. Hello, my friend. Hey, Skeeter. Skeeter, good morning, everyone. Skeeter, it was nice to catch you live last night, right before I went to bed. You and Mrs. Skeeter. Mir says, so Yogi, what thinks about friendship of YouTube? I absolutely love my YouTube friendships. I think you can form a true and lasting relationship on YouTube. For me, YouTube has been, in yogic and Buddhist terms, Sangha means community, spiritual community. YouTube has become a Sangha, a spiritual community for me. Does that mean that people haven't hurt me? Or that I haven't seen other people get hurt? That is part of the Sangha, is that you are able to look past that hurt. But look at, we got Skeeter. He's in the fishing community. And we've had people in all kinds of other communities. But it all comes together. I love people in the fishing communities. I love people in the crafting communities. I love people in the fitness community. It's all just now become community. Mir says, some people, just friends, don't support each other. You know what? I sort of think that we have to teach people how to support each other. And we have to ask. Speaking of which, I'm going to ask for something now, because we got some more people come in. Our friend Tandra, we are shooting for 3,000 watch hours. And then we'll shoot for 4,000, but let's get to 3,000 right now. So if anyone can watch a video or watch a playlist, be helpful. And our friend Eve, if you're not subscribed to our friend Eve, if you scroll up above, you'll see the link for Eve. And we're shooting for 5,000 subscribers. Skeeter says 100% supportive community here, and we're all family. Absolutely, Skeeter. Skeeter says, yes, we're now caught up on everything. Now I have no idea what to talk about in today's live. Talk about the things that you love, Skeeter. Talk about fishing. Why do you love fishing? And then everything just comes from there. So here's the best way to be supportive. When you're doing a live stream, mention other people's channels. Our friend Mir is doing, I don't say this lightly, he's doing God's work. Watch his channel and how he's taking care of birds, injured birds. That's why he's monetized. So when you watch ads, when you go and you support his live stream and you share him out, that's big. You're helping Mir help the birds. When you support Skeeter, you're helping Skeeter do what he loves to do. And he also supports other people. It all continues on. When you help Tundra, when you help Eve, everyone is supporting everyone. Tundra made me 2 theme songs, 2 beautiful songs, just because she's Tundra. What a great support that is. Just showing up at 5 a.m. in the morning. 5 a.m. for me. Thank you, Nightmare. Nightmare is a basic support. Nightmare shows up. He has great conversations. He's funny. He's just great to hang out with. That's awesome support. And now he gifted me with a basic membership. That's 99 cents. To me, man, 99 cents buys me a bag of lentils that will last me for a month. Hey, Bushka. How are you, my friend? Ryan says, Sister Sledge, we are family. Well, that song is going to be in my head for the rest of the day. Mir says, I hope you're doing well. So in just a minute, I'm going to go out and take my walk. Hey, Nightmare, are you still here? What do you think of that breath work? It's one of my favorite breaths to do in the morning. It's great. It wakes you up in the morning. It produces just the right chemicals, just the right neurochemical production. Ephedrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol. Just enough to get you up and running for the morning. It cleanses the lungs. So it's great if you're feeling a little under the weather. And it detoxifies the body. It's called the breath of fire. We did this earlier. All right, guys, so it is time for me to take my walk. Usually feel better once I get outside, get some fresh air, and start moving a bit. As I mentioned, I got a little bit of a cold. So appreciate you guys joining me. So I mentioned Tundra, I mentioned Eve, and Mir. You guys let me know. Oh, and I mentioned Skeeter. You guys let me know how I can support you. Feel free to drop your links. Always feel free to drop your links. Always feel free to celebrate anything you want to celebrate. Let us know if you got a new video out and you want more people to watch. Let us know if you're starting your channel out and you want some support. Anything at all. I mentioned to Nightmare, in any live stream that I'm doing, if you want to do some breath work, just say, hey, can we do some breath work? And we'll do it. If you want to learn how to meditate, if you want to learn a breathwork program, send me a message on Facebook, send me a message on Instagram or an email. I will teach you absolutely for free. Absolutely for free. Ryan says, shake that cold off and enjoy the day, Yogi. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. And again, thank you for joining me. Tundra says, have a great day. Mir says, stay blessed, y'all. You too, guys. Thank you again. I'm going to see everyone later. I'll be back like 1 o'clock. Take care, guys.